One of the biggest lessons I have been learning lately is the power of letting life flow for you. And more importantly, how to let it keep flowing. It's something so many of us unintentionally block. We stop the flow, we self sabotage, we doubt that life can actually be that good. And so today's episode is all about what I have been unpacking when it comes to flow, how to release control, get out of your own way, and allow things to unfold in a way that feels truly aligned and not forced. And I think really understanding why we stop the flow really allows us to be more mindful of it and catch ourselves when doing that. So I want to just start off with some common blocks and the ways that we unintentionally disrupt the natural flow of our lives. And the first way is that we want to figure it all out right away. We want all of the answers immediately, and we crave certainty. We want to know the outcome, the timeline, the how. But the truth is, you are not supposed to know every single outcome right away. And I know that that can be frustrating, but some clarity only comes through living and through experiencing things. And sometimes you have to be okay with just not knowing how the outcome is actually going to play out. The second way we stop the flow is the upper limit problem, which I talk so much about, but so many of us only allow ourselves to receive the amount of good that we are actually used to. So when life gets too good, we panic, we shut it down, we sabotage it. Not because we don't want it, because of course we want life to get better for us. And if you ask anyone, they'd be like, of course I want my life to be as good as it can get. But that still feels unfamiliar to us, and unfamiliarity can still feel unsafe. And so just really being aware of this and being like, you know what, I'm upper limiting again. I am capping the amount of good that I'm allowing into my life and I'm panicking is such a huge just realization that you can have so that you can change that. And then the last way is that we fear change, even good change. So it's not just this fear of things going wrong, failing, and not getting to where we want to get, but it is this fear of what if things get that good? What if I succeed? What if I get that thing that I want? How is my life going to change? Because even those things bring change, and change means uncertainty. And so a lot of us get freaked out almost about, oh my God, my life is going to change. And we go down this whole entire rabbit hole of like focusing on the next 10 steps when we are barely on step one. And so again, being mindful of all of these things and asking yourself, how do I stop the flow in my life is one of the biggest ways for you to be mindful of it and start shifting that. Another really important part of this is really understanding the difference between force and flow. And I want to make it super clear that forcing feels like these fear-based decisions. It feels like you are needing to hold on so tightly and control every single thing. It is you obsessing over the outcome and being like, oh my God, how is it going to turn out? What am I going to do? And freaking out over it. It is you putting constant pressure on all of these things and reacting impulsively. And I had an episode about the difference between anxiety and intuition, and these points really reminded me of these things because when we are anxious as well, we are reacting over anxiety, and like through anxiety, we are being very reactive and we are not letting ourselves breathe. We are just making a decision based on, I need these things to go this way because that's what I think they need to do. While flowing and listening to your intuition is really trusting yourself in the process. It is being present with what is. It is being open to receive. It is this feeling of being grounded and peaceful and responding with intention and really just not forcing things. I know that that is just the opposite of, I know we're talking about force versus flow, but it really is. Flow is like abundance. It is the water just pouring through and you not going and standing in between where you are and all of the abundance flowing to you. It is being open and ready to receive it and trusting that, you know what, it is going to come when the time is right for it to come, and focusing more on the process rather than the outcome. And so how do we start letting life flow for us? And what are the shifts that we can make in our mindset to really allow life to flow? And these are the shifts that have really helped me move into flow rather than resisting it. And the first one is reminding myself it is safe for life to be that good. We often mistake control for safety, but because control gives us this illusion of safety. And it really does block ease, miracles, and magic because we are just thinking like, oh, I'm controlling this, I feel safe. When in reality, like the most magical things happen in our life when we are not controlling them, when we are just showing up, trusting and allowing and being ready to be surprised by how good life can get. And I think an important reminder with all of this is we don't always know what's best for us. And I always think of this paragraph I read once about how a dog might beg for a piece of chocolate, thinking it's a treat or thinking it's something that it wants. But the owner knows that that chocolate is harmful. And so even though that dog is desperate for it, the owner withholds it. And it's not out of punishment, but out of protection. And I truly believe that that is how the universe works. When you stop gripping on so tightly and you create space for something greater to take over, whether you call it God, the universe, or your higher self, when you truly surrender, you give life the chance to do what's actually best for you. And this doesn't mean that you don't do the things that you can control, because of course we do need to put in the effort. We do need to do certain things. We do need to take that action. But it is also just living in this place of surrender of I've done everything that I can. And now I trust that if something is meant to work out for me, it will find a way to work out for me. And if it's not meant to, it will find a way to not. Another great shift is being okay with not knowing the outcome. So often we prepare for disappointment as a form of protection, but truthfully, you will never know every outcome in advance. And there is so much beauty in that. There is so much excitement in that. The unknown, I think a lot of us are so afraid of the unknown because we are focusing on the negatives of it. But I really do think there's so much beauty in realizing that you're allowed to go into something and see how it plays out and know that it will either work out the way that you want it to work out. You will get the outcome that you want, or it will teach you something. It will allow you to grow and it will lead you to where you are actually meant to go. And so not knowing the outcome is actually so exciting because there's so much, there's excitement in the uncertainty. I don't know how else to say it, because I know I sometimes even am so afraid of, oh my God, what's going to happen? How is my life going to play out when I don't know the outcome? But I think that that is one of the most beautiful and exciting things about life, that you don't even know all of the good coming into your life. You don't even know all of the people coming into your life, all of the opportunities, all of the beautiful ways that life will play out for you. The third shift is to really stop trying to control everything. And if I notice myself focusing on something I can't control, I pause and remind myself again, if it's meant to be, it will be. You are being guided, you are being protected, and you don't need to micromanage every detail. And in those times, especially that I feel resistant to it, I always just try to take a deep breath, put my hand over my heart, and just remind myself if it will work out if it's meant to work out, and that it is okay to not be in control of everything. The next shift is learning to receive without guilt. Because if good things are flowing into your life, you have to let them. That's like someone coming and giving you every single thing that you want. And if you're not good at receiving, you're like, no, it's fine. I don't need it. I don't want it. But someone's literally trying to give you that. And so when good things are coming into your life, whether that is a compliment, whether that is someone just saying something nice to you, or someone giving you something, you are allowed to say thank you so much. You're allowed to not question it. You don't have to look for the catch. You don't have to brace for the other shoe to drop. You can let it be good. You can let yourself have it, because why wouldn't life be able to get that good for you? Why wouldn't you be able to have those opportunities? Why wouldn't you be able to get the things that you want to get? If it's happening for someone else, why can't it happen for you too? And the last shift is shifting from what's next to what is trying to come through to me right now. We are so conditioned to chase that next thing, the next step, the next answer, the next win. But often that energy comes from scarcity and pressure. And when you are living in lack, you also attract more lack. So asking what's trying to come through me right now really invites you back into the present moment. It reminds you to tune in, not force. And the truth is, when you're always asking what's next, you will never feel like you have arrived. You will always be chasing that next thing. And you will never, even if you get the things that you want, you'll be like, okay, well, what's next? When that isn't the point of life. You need to learn how to really love everything that is while also striving for more, and also realize that a lot of what you are so badly craving is actually right in front of you. So those were some of the mindset shifts, but some more physical things that we can do and practices that help us restore flow and the how are number one, pausing before reacting. So this creates a space between stimulus and response. When we react instantly, we are often acting from fear, and a pause really creates clarity. And there's a concept from Kabbalah that says to say pause, what a pleasure. So instead of reacting, you are giving yourself a second to create space between where you are and the moment that you say the thing that you are going to say. And it's not just about slowing down your reaction, but it also gives you a second to shift to see the good in the situation and to know that there is growth and there is learning in everything. So when something challenges you, when things don't go your way, when someone pushes your buttons, when your expectations aren't met, instead of spiraling, you get to pause and say, pause, what a pleasure. Not in a sarcastic way, but in a way that actually invites curiosity in. Like, what is this here to teach me? How is this building my character, my patience, my strength? How can this moment be a gift in disguise? And this one phrase really helps you move from resistance to reception, from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this? And it's about choosing to believe that even this is for me. Like every single thing that we deal with in life, all of the challenges, all of the negatives, they're all there to help us grow and learn. And when we, instead of getting tripped up about it and stay stuck in that, we ask ourselves, okay, how can I grow from this? How can I learn from this? You allow the flow to keep going instead of blocking it. Another great tool is checking in with your body, because your body always knows. So ask yourself, is my chest tight right now? Is my jaw clenched? Are my shoulders raised? Like these are all signs you're gripping energy, and awareness is the first step to shifting. And then the next tool is to consciously choose ease. If you say you want ease, are you letting it in? Or are you secretly addicted to the hustle, to earn it all, to do it all the hard way, to let yourself, you're allowed to let yourself choose the easier path sometimes, and that's not necessarily laziness. It is actually alignment. And this isn't to say that you don't put in the work and put in the effort and that you think that things just come without you putting any of like the work into it, but it is also about you getting into alignment and knowing that if you are in alignment and you are putting your best intention out there and coming out of a place of ease when you're doing these things, when you're taking the action rather than force, you actually allow life to bring those blessings to you quicker. And I have just noticed such a huge shift in my own life when I have stopped trying to force things and just have believed that it is allowed to be easy. It is allowed to be fun. It is allowed to be good. Like the things that have come into my life, the opportunities, the people, like all of it has come in when I have not made it so difficult for myself, when I have not been so stressed out about it or anxious about it. And then the last tool, and we kind of already talked about it, but is really practicing receiving. So what happens when someone compliments you? Do you deflect? Do you downplay it? And realizing that receiving is a muscle. And so when you strengthen it, you open the door for more good to come into your life. And you also just remind yourself that you are worthy of receiving it. Because again, you are literally worthy of receiving all of the things that you want to receive. You have these desires in your heart for a reason. Like we all have such different things that we want in our life. And so the reason that you have the desires that you have, the dreams that you have, the goals that you have are there for a reason. And it's so important for you to not block all of the blessings trying to make their way to you. And so my final reminder for you is you don't have to force what's aligned. You do not need to have it all figured out. And you're allowed to be in the process and also be at peace at the same time and trust that it will play out how it is meant to play out. The universe, God, your highest self, whatever resonates with you is looking out for you. And when you trust that and let yourself feel that ease, more ease is able to come in. Let life flow for you and let it keep flowing. Like you are allowed to just have an abundant flowing life. In the moment that you let go of that grip, life is allowed to have that space to really surprise you.